the longest train hijacking in history. A true test of endurance, wit, and the will to survive. Picture yourself in the midst of this chaos where every second counts and every decision could be your last. Imagine this. You're on a train, chugging along, the scenery flashing by. The rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the tracks is almost hypnotic, lulling you into a false sense of security. Suddenly everything changes, fear grips the air, and you're trapped in a real-life thriller. The once peaceful journey turns into a nightmare, and you find yourself in the middle of a high-stakes drama. This ain't no movie set, this is the real deal. The tension is palpable, and the stakes couldn't be higher. You're not just a passenger anymore, you're a participant in a life-or-death struggle. We're talking about an event so intense, so unbelievable, that it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about human nature. The bravery, the fear, the sheer will to survive, it's all here, laid bare for you to witness. Get ready to be transported to a world where danger lurks around every corner, and every decision could mean the difference between life and death. The suspense is almost unbearable, and the outcome is anything but certain. This is a story about the resilience of the human spirit, the chaos of uncertainty, and the thin line that separates order from utter pandemonium. It's a testament to the strength and determination of those who faced the unimaginable and lived to tell the tale. So, buckle up, grab your snacks, and get ready for a wild ride as we unravel the mystery of the longest train hijacking in history. This is one journey you won't soon forget, and it's all about to unfold right before your eyes. Every good story needs a villain, or in this case, a whole crew of them. These weren't your everyday crooks. They were a determined bunch with a score to settle, and a plan so audacious it would make your head spin. Their motives? Let's just say they were fueled by a potent cocktail of anger, desperation, and a burning desire for revenge. They felt like they'd been dealt a bad hand, and they were determined to tip the scales in their favor, no matter the cost. Their leader was a charismatic figure, a master manipulator who could talk a dog off a meat truck. He knew how to exploit people's weaknesses, play on their fears, and rally them to his cause. But even the best-laid plans have a way of unraveling, and this hijacking was no exception. As the hours turned into days and the days into weeks, tensions mounted, alliances shifted, and the hijackers' true colors began to show. Now let's talk about the train itself. This wasn't some sleek, modern bullet train. This was a hulking beast of iron and steel, a symbol of a bygone era. It was supposed to be a routine journey, a chance for passengers to relax, enjoy the scenery, and maybe catch up on some reading. Little did they know they were in for the ride of their lives, a terrifying odyssey that would test their limits and push them to the brink. As the hijackers took control, the atmosphere on the train shifted from peaceful to terrifying in the blink of an eye. Passengers were herded together, their every move watched, their every word scrutinized. Fear and uncertainty hung in the air, as thick as the smoke billowing from the train's engine. The hijackers roamed the carriages, their faces hidden, their intentions unclear. Days turned into nights, and the train thundered onward, its destination unknown. The rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the tracks was a constant reminder of the relentless passage of time. The hijackers, fueled by adrenaline and a warped sense of righteousness, tightened their grip on their hostages. Their eyes darted nervously, fingers twitching on their weapons as they tried to maintain control. Food and water became scarce, the air thick with tension and despair. The once bustling train now felt like a moving prison, with every passing hour deepening the sense of hopelessness. Tempers flared, friendships were tested, and the line between captor and captive blurred as the sheer magnitude of the situation sunk in. Arguments erupted over the smallest of things, and the atmosphere grew increasingly volatile. Passengers, once strangers, found themselves bound together by a shared sense of terror and a desperate hope for survival. They clung to each other, seeking solace in the presence of fellow sufferers. Amidst the chaos, stories of courage and compassion emerged. People who had never met before now shared their deepest fears and hopes, creating bonds that transcended the dire circumstances. Acts of kindness, small but significant, offered glimmers of hope in the darkness. A shared piece of bread, a whispered word of comfort, a shoulder to cry on. These simple gestures took on profound meaning in the face of adversity. A shared piece of bread, a whispered word of comfort, a shoulder to cry on. These simple gestures took on profound meaning in the face of adversity. In these moments, humanity shone through the bleakness. The hijackers, too, were affected by the prolonged standoff. Their initial bravado began to wane as the reality of their situation set in. Sleep deprivation, infighting, and the weight of their actions began to take their toll. The once unified front of the hijackers started to crumble under the pressure. The cracks in their facade started to show, revealing the fear and uncertainty that lurked beneath their bravado. Their eyes, once filled with determination, now reflected the same dread that gripped their hostages. Section 5. The element of surprise, unexpected heroes. But wait, folks, don't lose heart just yet. In the midst of chaos and uncertainty, hope can still shine through. Because in the darkest of times, heroes often emerge from the most unexpected places. It's in these moments that ordinary people find extraordinary strength. And this story is no different. It's a testament to the resilience and bravery that lies within each of us. Among the passengers were ordinary men and women who, when faced with extraordinary circumstances, found the strength to fight back. They were not trained soldiers or seasoned warriors, but they had something even more powerful. They might not have had weapons or tactical training, but they had something far more powerful: courage, ingenuity, and an unyielding determination to survive. They used whatever they could find, turning everyday objects into tools of resistance. There was the elderly schoolteacher who used her knowledge of Morse code to send out a desperate plea for help. Her quick thinking and resourcefulness were crucial in alerting the outside world, and the group of young athletes who devised a daring plan to overpower their captors. Their physical prowess and teamwork were instrumental in turning the tide. And let's not forget the quick-thinking doctor who used his medical skills to treat the injured and boost morale. His presence was a source of comfort and hope for many. Their acts of bravery might have seemed small, but they were a beacon of hope in a sea of despair, reminding everyone that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit could not be broken. These unexpected heroes showed that courage and solidarity can triumph over adversity, inspiring future generations to stand strong in the face of challenges. Section 6. Between a rock and a hard place. Now you might be thinking, why didn't someone just call for help? Or couldn't the authorities stop this thing? Well, folks, it wasn't that simple. You see, the hijackers were cunning. They'd planned this thing down to the last detail, cutting off all communication with the outside world and using the hostages as human shields. The authorities were in a tough spot. They were walking a tightrope, trying to resolve the situation without putting the hostages in further danger. It was a waiting game, a high-stakes poker match where the lives of innocent people hung in the balance. Negotiators worked around the clock, trying to reason with the hijackers to find a peaceful solution. But the hijackers' demands were steep, their resolve unwavering. Time was running out and the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Section 7. Freedom, but at what cost? Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, a breakthrough. The details are still shrouded in secrecy, but what we do know is that after weeks of agonizing suspense, a daring raid was launched. It was a symphony of chaos, a whirlwind of noise and confusion as highly trained operatives stormed the train. Gunfire erupted, shattering the eerie silence that had settled over the hijacking. Passengers scrambled for cover, their hearts pounding in their chests. When the dust settled, the hijackers were subdued, their reign of terror finally over. The hostages, battered but not broken, emerged into the sunlight, blinking in disbelief at their newfound freedom. It was a moment of pure joy, of relief so profound it brought tears to the eyes of even the toughest among them. But it was a victory tinged with sadness, a reminder of the human cost of this ordeal. Section 8. Scars that time can't heal. The hijacking might be over, folks, but its impact reverberated long after the last hostage stepped off that train. It left an indelible mark on the lives of everyone involved, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of trauma. Many struggled to come to terms with what they'd experienced. Nightmares haunted their sleep, flashbacks jolted them awake. The unseen scars of the hijacking ran deep, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of everyday life. The physical wounds might have healed, but the emotional ones lingered, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the long road to recovery. Some found solace in therapy, in sharing their stories, in the knowledge that they weren't alone. Others struggled in silence, their pain a heavy burden to bear. Section 9. Lessons learned. Never underestimate the human spirit. The longest train hijacking in history was a stark reminder that the world can be a dangerous and unpredictable place. But it also highlighted the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit, our capacity for courage, compassion, and hope, even in the face of unimaginable adversity. It taught us that heroes can emerge from the most unexpected places, that ordinary people are capable of extraordinary acts of bravery. It reminded us of the importance of unity, of looking out for one another, and of never giving up hope, even when the odds seem insurmountable.